I sat in the courtroom, hands folded loosely in my lap, feeling the familiar mix of tension and calm that comes from knowing the weight of truth, but having no immediate way to show it. The walls felt heavy with expectation. My wife's voice carried across the room, precise and deliberate. "He never built anything," she said, eyes sharp. "For us, he is always a failure." Her words landed like stones. The jury, the judge, even the attorneys leaned forward slightly, as if the sentence had already carved my reputation in the room. I stayed silent. The judge's gaze flicked toward me. I could feel it, an unspoken question. Something in me tightened, not panic, not indignation, but the steady coil of quiet awareness. I had lived these years in the shadow of misunderstanding, her narrative shaping the perception of everyone around me, while the details of my work, my quiet persistence, went unnoticed. I thought back to nights spent recalculating budgets when everyone else was asleep, to mornings arranging schedules no one acknowledged, to years of careful planning that never made a headline. These were small acts, invisible to anyone not paying attention. Yet they were the scaffolding of the life we'd built together. The courtroom seemed to hold its breath, her attorney shifted slightly, uneasy. My wife's expression remained composed, though a flicker of something raw passed across her face, something she quickly masked. "Do you know what he actually did?" the judge asked, voice calm, measured. Time slowed. The silence in the room grew thick, expectant. My wife's attorney hesitated, lips pressed tightly, eyes darting. The jury leaned forward, sensing the unspoken significance. My wife's face paled just enough for me to notice. She had rehearsed this story, polished it for effect, but now the control she thought she held was slipping. Memories unfolded in my mind with clarity. The contracts I secured, the client relationships I nurtured, the countless nights I spent problem-solving, smoothing tensions, carrying responsibilities that no one else saw. Each memory felt heavy with quiet pride. None of it was dramatic, none of it screamed for attention. But now in this room, it was enough. I remained still. I did not speak, I did not defend. I let the weight of truth linger in the air, allowing authority to recognize it without fanfare. The judge's pause, the subtle hesitation in my wife's attorney, the slight narrowing of her eyes, all confirmed the shift. It was a quiet victory, not one for celebration, not one for applause, but a restoration of dignity that had been quietly eroded over the years. I could feel it inside me, a sense of validation that no words could fully capture. My wife's power over the narrative had diminished, just slightly, but perceptibly. I thought about the future, about how this perception might ripple outward, changing how others saw me, if only slightly. And I realized that recognition, when earned through patience and restraint, had a weight all its own. It did not need dramatics. It did not need anger or theatrics. The truth, finally allowed to exist, was enough. The courtroom slowly resumed its rhythm. People whispered, shuffled papers, leaned back. My wife's face was pale, her composure intact but thinner, somehow worn. I remained calm, reflective, letting my quiet confidence speak without uttering a single word. Walking out later, I felt the subtle but undeniable shift. Not triumph, not revenge, just acknowledgement, the kind that comes when reality, finally recognized, reshapes the story people think they know. I had lived misunderstood, but the truth had a way of asserting itself, slowly, quietly, and completely. And in that, there was a dignity that no accusation could touch.